I enjoy cooking, and I try to cook from scratch for my family as much as I can. Now that happens about 8 meals out of 10. The 2 meals when we order takeout, it's usually because I just don't feel like cooking. But sometimes what happens is I just have nothing in my kitchen to cook from. That situation is happening less and less frequently as I get better at keeping a good stock of all the things I need for my kind of recipes. I've already done 2 videos in this series, one about what I keep in my freezer, the other one about my pantry, and today is all about the things I keep in my fridge. Even though they have to be stored in the fridge, most of these items will last you for weeks, months, sometimes even a year. So I think it still pays to have a good stock of them in your fridge ready to go. Before we dive in, I wanted to let you know that in my next video, I'll be doing a Q&A. So if you have any questions for me, put them down in the comments. And with that, let's dive into my fridge list. The number 1 item on my list that I absolutely need in my life and in my fridge is butter. I just use it so much, whether it's just spreading it on my bread, then putting piles of jam onto it, eating that as a snack, or of course in all sorts of cooking. I'm sure you know butter and I don't have to introduce it to you, so butter gets to be number 1. Now the second item might be something you don't use in your kitchen, and that's lard. At least that was the case for me. I haven't really used it until maybe a couple months ago when I replaced some of the butter I was using with lard. And specifically for any kind of like meat frying, roasting vegetables or sauteing, browning onions, that sort of thing. Anything where I'm using higher heat, because lard has a higher smoke point than butter, so that means it's better able to withstand those high temperatures. Number 3 is eggs. We like to have scrambled eggs for breakfast a couple times a week. Plus I use them again in all sorts of baking, so we can easily go through 20 eggs in a week for our family of 3. Now, you may have heard or read conflicting advice when it comes to the storage of eggs. Some people say don't wash them at all. Some say wash them. Some say store in the fridge. Others, room temperature is fine. I really haven't made up my mind about this. It's just that I'm used to keeping them in the fridge, so that's where they live, in this kitchen. Item number 4 is yogurt. When I'm done with my grocery shopping, we have pretty much an entire shelf in the fridge completely filled with yogurt. My partner likes to eat a lot of the skyr type. I don't know if that's a word that you use in English, but we have that as a type of yogurt here. And then I like to eat all sorts of yogurts just as a snack, but we also have quite a few that are just plain white, which we can also use as a snack in combination with some fruit or something, or again, it goes into baking. Another dairy product I use a lot is cream. I buy the one that has a higher fat content, usually like 31% or higher. I think it just tastes better, simple as that. I use it for, again, all sorts of things, a lot of sauces, ones that I usually make for chicken, and then it goes into a lot of soups as well towards the end to just make the whole consistency more like smoother and maybe a little bit sweeter. So there is a lot of cream that I go through in my cooking. The last dairy product is item number 6, and that is cheese. And it's that item that has the longest shelf life out of all of these items. I just never really looked at the expiration date on a cheese, and it turns out it can last for many, many months, even a year. The cheddar cheese I have in my fridge now, the expiration date is February 2025. So that's still about, 7 months, 8 months from now. So that's pretty cool. Again, it's just so convenient when something can last you this long without spoiling. Now, one thing to be aware of is if you want your cheese to last long, you need to buy the ones that are in like their full form in the blocks, right? Don't buy the grated version. If you buy grated cheddar, grated Parmesan, it will still last a couple months usually, but definitely nowhere near as long as the ones that are in the box shape or whatever, the full form, right? Item number 7 is broth. I've recently made a video on how I make broth at home, and this has really changed the way I cook, I feel like. It has allowed me to do so much more. Now I make usually a soup once a week. It goes into all sorts of sauces, and my secret weapon is that I use broth instead of water when cooking rice. Since rice can be pretty bland, the broth gives it really nice, rich flavor. So with all those things, I go through at least a liter of broth every week. And the last item, item number 8, is carrots. When it comes to vegetables, carrots are definitely the most represented in my kitchen. I just find that they have, again, the longest shelf life when it comes to vegetables, so that's why I like to keep them. And I think since I keep them in the fridge, they last for even longer, but I'm no expert on this. I'm sure a lot of people don't store carrots in the fridge, and I think that's absolutely fine. Just do whatever works best for you. You will often see me add carrots into soups, the different sauces, like I mentioned, the bolognese, my favorite already, and it also goes into that broth that I was just talking about. And that concludes the list of my fridge essentials. There are, of course, other things I keep in my fridge, such as condiments and other things, but I just don't use them as often, so I wouldn't consider those essentials. I hope you got some inspiration out of it. Let me know down in the comments which one is your number 1 fridge essential, and I'll see you next week with another video. Bye!